For members' statements today, we will hear from the members for the districts of Mount Pearl North, Placentia West-Bellevue, Cape St. Francis, St. John's East-Quidi, Vidi, and Harbour Grace, Port de Grave. The Honourable, the member for Mount Pearl North.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise in this honourable House today to congratulate Mount Pearl's Frosty Festival, now in its 37th year. This year, the festival was held from February 6th to 17th. The largest winter festival in Atlantic Canada doesn't just happen. It is the constant dedication of the great network of more than 500 volunteers and organisers that makes this event the highlight for the city of Mount Pearl every year. This year we saw a wonderful 12 days of 80+ events, and all reports indicate that this was the most successful and well-attended Frosty Festival to date. There was something for everyone to enjoy. 37 years is truly remarkable, and the festival clearly shows the wonderful sense of community that exists in Mount Pearl. To sponsors, boards of directors, community groups, community partners, and hundreds of volunteers, and all organizations and businesses who supported the event, I thank you. I thank you all for what you've done over the past 12 months to make the 12 Days of Frosty Festival 2019 such a success. I ask all honourable members to join with me in thanking and congratulating the 37th Annual Frosty Festival on its tremendous success.
Thank you. The Honourable Member for Placentia West-Bellevue.
Mr. Speaker, I rise today to recognize a fierce advocate and a fearless leader, a strong woman from the town of Terrenceville, Miss Rebecca Hickey. Rebecca has been a lifelong resident of Terrenceville. The pride she has in her hometown speaks for itself. She's an advocate of good services and infrastructure, strong health care, and celebrating tourism in the region. She has served on the Town Council for over 38 years, including many as mayor. She was re-elected to council in the 2017 municipal election and continues to serve her fellow residents. In fact, Mr. Speaker, today she's celebrating her 79th birthday, and she's celebrating it by being in St. John's along with her colleagues on the Town Council, meeting with the Minister of Municipal Affairs to advocate for issues concerning their town. That's her idea of a good birthday, Mr. Speaker. Earlier today, I had the opportunity to present Rebecca with a certificate of recognition and thanks for her years of service to the people and to the town of Terrenceville. I ask all honourable members to join me in showing our appreciation and, of course, in wishing Councillor and former Mayor Rebecca Hickey a happy 79th birthday. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The Honourable Member for Cape St. Francis.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I rise in this honourable House today to congratulate this year's Easter Seals Newfoundland and Labrador Ambassador, Cassandra McGrath. Cassandra is a 13-year-old girl from Torbay and is a student at Holy Trinity High. Her energy and enthusiasm has come from a result of programs at Easter Seals. Cassandra wants to be an advocate, a role model for persons with disabilities in this province, as well to increase support for the organisation and encourage more persons with disabilities to become part of Easter Seals. As a member of this year's wheelchair basketball team, she was the glue of the team. She helped keeping everyone together and focused. Cassandra's message is even though you have a disability, you can still have fun and enjoy life. I ask all honourable members to join with me in wishing Cassandra McGrath all the best as this year's Easter Seals Ambassador, and I am sure she will be a great spokesperson for Easter Seals.
The Honourable Member for St. John's East-Quidi, Vidi.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I'm delighted to congratulate Dr. Noreen Golfman on being named Woman of the Year by the Alliance of Canadian Cinema, Television and Radio Artists for advancing gender equality in the arts. A pioneer for women in the film industry, Noreen is the founding director of the St. John's International Women's Film Festival. The festival is highly successful, attracting women from all over the world to screen their films in our province. The festival will celebrate its 30th year this October. Noreen also sits as the Vice Chair of the Newfoundland and Labrador Film Development Corporation and Chair of the Board of the Friends of Canadian Broadcasting. Since 2011, she has co-chaired the Board of Directors of Business and the Arts, NL. Noreen is a full professor in the Department of English who currently serves as the Provost and Vice President Academic of Memorial University. I ask the honourable members of this House to join with me in congratulating Dr. Noreen Golfman on receiving Actress Woman of the Year Award.
The honourable member for Harbour Grace, Port de Grave.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Today I would like to recognize two outstanding citizens of Spaniards Bay. William Tedford enlisted in the Canadian Armed Forces in 1960, serving with the United Nations in Egypt and then in Germany with NATO forces. Bill returned to Canada in 1971 when he was stationed in Gagetown, New Brunswick, where he served at a medical unit prior to being honourably discharged in 1973. He has received numerous service awards such as the Queen's Jubilee Medal, United Nations Peacekeeping Medal, NATO Services Medal, Queen's Commemorative of Canada, and more. He is still an active, dedicated Royal Canadian Legion member in Spaniards Bay. Bonita Huzzy has become a local YouTube sensation through her Newfoundland traditional cooking show, Bonita's Kitchen. It all started when her son, who was living in another province, asked her to share a recipe with him on YouTube for homemade bread. Turns out her son wasn't the only viewer who took interest. Then in 2014, Bonita and her husband Raymond retired from their jobs and moved back to Newfoundland and Labrador from the Northwest Territories. Ever since, they've been cooking up recipes, working on recipes, videos, and a cookbook to promote their YouTube channel. I ask all honorable members to certainly congratulate these residents. Thank you.